but we're taking all the insulation off, and it's glued. Look, all the whole windows are moving. Wow. So, it's really wet. That's the fan here. See, look at that. Oh, it's completely.
So it needs to dry out.
Look at that window. Oh, it needs to dry out. This whole wall isn't attached to the. It's not attached to the metal. See that? See that moving? Look at that. That's why this wall is all warped. And this window is just literally, I don't know what. It's attached to the fiberglass. So this has to all be taken out. Wow, look at that whole wall. That explains the warping. Look at that. Oh. But we have to. Yeah, this is like pretty bad. I mean, I'm gonna have to figure out. So this is just totally, looks like it's actively wet.
Yeah.
So I think this window is leaking because it doesn't look like it's leaking from up top. It looks like it's soaking up the water. Yeah, it's this whole outside window. It's leaking.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, the window's really, it's under this right now. I'm surprised that it's so wet because it's underneath. It must be because it's raining on the roof and somehow running back and getting. So definitely this is leaking. Okay. Wow. So I'll have to completely be resealed here. And I just see this wall, well, it rolls somehow. Window's not attached, but neither is the wall. Whatever was originally holding this to the metal out there, it's obviously rusted away or somehow isn't. And so they glued this and they attached everything to this flat metal. So yeah, so this insulation, they're gonna have to take everything apart and make sure that everything's, this looks like it's aluminum frame. So the outside fiberglass, you know, outside is gonna have to be reattached, or this feels like there's a bow here.
There is a bow, I can see it.
Yeah, so there's definitely, so that was actually, if they would have stepped here, like there's definitely a bow there. Pretty good bow, matter of fact. I have to get up there and look at it. I mean, the wood's not rotted. They probably stepped here and it just pushed it down. But it hasn't been leaking. Probably because I see that they coated the top. So I go up there and we'll check the roof. Make sure the roof is good. And then we can get that bow out and we just probably put a support through it. We could pry it back up. and get a nice support. Because you're gonna have to walk on this, you know. You got some good railing, but this is a really big span. I think that's why it got the bow in it, because it probably needed to have a support here, and for whatever reason, see, they got this big span here. They have all the supports when they built this, but they have two really big spans, which I think is a mistake. So they should have added two more supports when they built this. One out here and one up there for that one. Hopefully this one isn't bent as well. This one looks like,
That one looks good.
see, it's down a little bit. It needs another support. So we need two supports. Because people will be walking on this and it needs to be supported. We could probably cut it out of wood or something, but we need to get two supports. And to see it still, I can still see it's down a little bit. Not as bad as that one, but it's definitely down.
Oh yeah, it's bowed.
You see that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bowed.
that's the thing. They walk here. Here's the seam. They're coating the roof. They walk on the seam, and it's such a huge gap that it baked it in, and it did the same there. They should. I can't believe they could. This was built in '92, and they just did it. They did a cheap job on the framing. They just need. I don't know why they didn't add another support. That's crazy. They should have had a support on every seam. Because I mean, people walk on top of their RVs. Crazy. We'll fix it. But at least it's not leaking.
Well, I don't think you should take it out if it's really stuck on there. That means
we
it's
gotta
good.
get behind all of it
Oh,
and put new insulation, because I mean, this is coming apart.
oh.
So I mean, you have dry rot, and it just needs to be taken apart and fixed. We don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's definitely screwed up there. And I'm not gonna strap this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We need to check it all. Because it could have messed up anywhere, you know? Wow. I'm gonna have to replace this wood.
Yeah, that was about easy.
Huh? Yeah, look. Yeah, and all these windows, you see, there's a bow in it here too. Wait, there's not even a support. Look at that. So they got a support. This thing is going from this corner. I don't know how far that spans. And they got no. I guess it's the same way. This one's really glued. There's like no support on this either. It looks like it's attached down there. And the next attachment is probably somewhere. Holy crap, it's the end of the camper. I guess it's attached on the top rail, board wheel, and then stiffened up by the insulation. That's crazy they didn't have very many frame rails in this. Wow. So definitely gonna have to put a few more frame rails in it, because that's not gonna be good. That's gonna be really hard to peel off too. So they just some kind of seems like working on tearing out the insulation and finding a lot of really wet rotted wood under here. It looks like, I mean, look at this. You got a framing, piece of framing there in the corner of the RV, and the next piece of framing is clear down over here. really far. That's probably 15 feet of no down rails on this wall. And then the windows are floating. They have this insulation is glued to this, but we have a lot of leaking around the windows. You can see the light coming through, and that's where we're getting the warping on the outside. And we got some damage on the ceiling. Looks like because look at this distance on this framing. Somebody walks up here, or obviously they walked up here to do something on the roof of this and stepped on this seam, and it bowed in. So we're going to be adding extra framing. We're going to add framing around these windows. Looks like what they do is they unscrew, they kind of sandwich in. So we're going to add extra framing for this wall next to the east side of the window. Same with this over here. And this wall, we've been trying to, some of this stuff is really stuck well, others comes off with the wood. And it looks like the outside fiberglass is somehow, I don't know if the wood's glued, it's glued to the wood. I think it probably is. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, try it out. We'll have it fix the framing, re-insulate the walls, clean up any of the aluminum rails that are corroded. Add some extra supports here and get the roof back where it's supposed to be. We haven't been up there messing with the roof yet, but looks like most all of the leaks are coming from around the windows from not being sealed. Like, look at this wall here. This is completely off of not even hooked to the rail anymore. It's like it probably, like the screws were ripped out. Got some corrosion there. Got some fixing, definitely some fixing to do. This one still hooked to the rail, but I can't believe they went such a long distance without down rails on this. It's crazy.